I like pressed live so quickly. Then I don't think I even got like a thumbnail for the stream. Um, I didn't even like grab my glasses or get water or anything. This was an extremely impromptu decision. But hopefully people show up. I'm in that strange time frame right now where make sure. Hopefully I'm actually live. I'm not actually sure. I might have fucked it up, but I'm in the weird what's the word? I'm in that weird window of time during the day where it's like 9 p.m. I usually stop playing piano. Hey, Cookie, good to see you. This was an extremely impromptu stream. It's 9 p.m. I usually stop playing piano around 10 p.m. I just got back from like going for like a pretty long walk and doing some rock climbing, so I'm very tired, but I don't want to like take a nap. So I'm like I'm hungry, I guess, but I don't really feel like eating, if that makes sense. Um, so to kill time until like 10 p.m., which I'm sure by then I'll be like hungry enough to actually eat. I'll just play some piano. Top 10 most random streams of all time. I feel like I say that every single like. I feel like I've said that for the past like 10 streams. Like, oh, this is a really random stream, guys. Hello, Jamal. Good to see you. Good to see you as well. Yeah, this is even more like what's the word? Even more random than any of the other streams. Yes, hello Andrew. I didn't even like bring my glasses or my computer. I usually at least have my computer to like read chat. How many pianos do you have? Yes, this is actually a second secret one I have hidden in like a. There's like a little compartment in the apartment complex. I press a button and the second piano like runs up out of it. I actually am a bit sad because like my phone is like super low battery, so and there is an outlet in this room, but it's on like this side of the room, so I have to have the phone pointing this way if I want to be streaming right now. I really want it to be pointing the other way because I want you guys to see the city. It looks pretty nice right now, but them's the breaks. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys enjoyed that cover I put out yesterday. I posted about it in my personal server. It's doing really well. Like people, the love for Pomni and the Amazing Digital Circus has been very, 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 very surprising, but very nice to see. Um, I had like the new rescue episode. Oof, that's high praise. I appreciate that. Um, well, the past like few weeks have kind of been going back and forth in my head about like how I felt about getting views in this channel, like whether or not, you know, whether or not I should start like tagging my videos. Pomni's great, man. Whether or not I should start like tagging my videos, like doing like small things to in- increase views. Um, because like very briefly talking about it, what sometimes I get recommended like random videos with like maybe like 200, 300 views, and I mean, might sound a bit rude, but like when I get recommended that, I'm kind of like, why did I get recommended this? This is such a small video. But putting in perspective, like if I get recommended like a random like TF2 video that got 300 views in a day, that's still better than most of my videos. Um, so I was just kind of going back and forth about that. Like, am I happy with the amount of views I'm getting? Do I want to take steps to increase those views? I ended up deciding no. I think it's fine. What's more important for me is engagement. Like, I'd rather have a cover that gets like 50 views, but um, rather than like a cover that gets like 1,000 views and zero comments, because then like it's 1,000 is just a number. The comments are like what actually proves someone watched it. Um, so a bit paradoxically, that was coming to that decision was a bit like liberating because it took my mind off of like, okay, I think the thing that decided it for me was like, I don't want to set my sights on covering a song and then be like, but wait, what about the views? So I think, you know, coming to that decision, just prioritizing like I'm just gonna upload what I want, I don't really care. Um, it emboldened me to release like the VVV cover and the Amazing Digital Circus cover, which again is a bit funny because that cover that I chose to upload like on a whim, being like, oh, if this gets like 20 views, it's fine. Ended up getting like the most views in like 24 hours of like the past 10 or so videos that uploaded. So it all worked out, I guess. You should make clickbait. Dude, it sounds crazy. You won't believe. Bunny Bun, welcome. Did you go by a different name before? You're a moderator, so I know you've been to this channel before. But yeah, as I said in the description, probably gonna stream for an hour. I don't want to get another like phone call or like a knock at the door telling me to stop playing. So I mean, I have one song I know I'm gonna play like in a little bit. The cycle with me seems to be like I'll make a cover and then I'll make like one or two covers and then I'll do a stream because I want to play the songs I covered live because I think it'd be fun. So you can probably guess what song I'm gonna play, and then maybe I'll like talk about the music composition a little bit, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do for the rest of the hour. The Amazing Digital German F5. Pomni is very Germa is a very Digital Circus-esque character. I think it's funny the amount that I've been like just sort of talking about and praising Digital Circus because I haven't even watched the second episode yet. I'm very slow when it comes to consuming new media, and I think I didn't want to rush into the second episode without really taking time to like digest the first. And I think making like the cover of like the end theme of episode one was like an important part of that. So I'll probably watch it soon. I've heard it's good. I know there's a crocodile guy. The schedule is vibes, indeed. Digital Circus coded. Was there plushie commercial? I don't think so. But are there like official Pomni plushes? That'd be good. One last thing before I start playing. I talked about it's not an anime, but there is like a fan animation on YouTube that's like a fake like 90s-esque anime opening for it that I haven't watched it either, but the thumbnail looks really good. But yeah, like one last little tidbit that I also mentioned in my personal server is like I went to a convention this past weekend and like at 1 a.m. there was a panel where it was like a tournament of Tumblr sexy men and women. It was a Tumblr sexy person bracket. And first round, one of the matchups was Sans versus Pomni. I voted for Sans because Undertale for life, but I was really mad. I was like, this is so unfair. How could you do this to like a promising new sexy woman? Like, this is rigged. And like I went on stage because like part of the panel involved like we would vote on which sexy man would move on to the next round, and the audience was encouraged to walk up to like a podium and like debate and like give their reasons why a certain character should win. I went up and I was like, I think this is unfair. I'm gonna vote for Sans, but I really like Pomni. And I didn't get much of a response from the crowd. No one really cheered, which I was just like, I don't get it. I haven't even watched episode 2 of the show yet, but I see the vision with Pomni. She's great. Like, she's got the clown aesthetic. I don't necessarily like. I don't have a particular affinity for clown characters, but like you combine the girl failure with the clown aesthetic, it's like it's a recipe for success. It's great. She's already iconic. I like it. But yeah. Just felt like sharing that. Commercial has spoilers episode 2. Bishop Plush is all the main characters. Let's go. I could get a Pomni plush, as well as an Enna plush. Pomni's great, but Enna's better. Just saying. Not to compare, but it wasn't an anime. Honestly, that's fair, Charlie. It sounds like an anime name. Yeah, convention. Very fun convention. A lot of stories from the convention. Not really anything I feel like talking about here. Yeah, like I'm not like necessarily. I don't think like. I don't know. This is weird. I can see why people would like Pomni in that way. I don't really, but I mean like. Again, it's been like what 6 months since the episode since the pilot came out. I've been seeing her everywhere, and yeah, she's cool. I'm honestly, Charlie, I'm surprised that you liked the cover as much as you did. With I from the comments you left, I figured you must have watched the episode because like you were saying like, oh, you found a really good arrangement. So I was like, oh, I guess he's watched it and he knows this song. If you liked the cover that much without knowing where it was from, then that's good sign for my playing, and also a good sign for like the composition of the song because it's a really good song. But yeah, let me play it real quick. Yeah, very fun song to play. Pretty difficult, honestly, but very fun. It's not like the person who wrote it just released. Yeah, like, um, that is true. You can even without knowing what the original song even sounds like, it's a good. You can tell it's a good arrangement. Like, there were two. I don't want to like bash the other arrangement, but it was I think intentionally more simple and easier to play. But like this one had like the left hand, which was a lot more active, like. Which I mean, actually listening to the song itself, I'm not sure how if it's like more accurate than like the simpler arrangement, but I like it better. Even if it's not how the original song actually sounds, it captures the feel of the original song, which I think is more important. But the thing that really sold me on it is like the beginning with where the left hand kind of like has its own thing going on. The simpler arrangement just had the left hand basically like play chords like which is fine. It's kind of what the original song sounds like, but like again, I don't know how accurate this left hand is to the actual song, but like it sounds really good. Like like it made covering the song harder, but I think it was definitely worth it. Going into the I've been falling behind on chat. I thought no one was talking for some reason. There is a vision. Official fan game machine for Undertale OST including is butchered, probably because they knew it was the most popular. They didn't want more beginner players to be frustrated. Understandable, but also cowards. Cowards. Genuinely shocked me more than it is. I don't know. That is interesting. I guess no. I think the reason why is because Soroba is attracting everyone's attention instead. But yeah. So this was a cover I was very happy with. I talked about the composition of the song in the description. I talked about it in my personal server, then like posted some screenshots to Imgur. To be as hard to play as the fight is to beat, agreed. Yeah, I analyzed the song, but I'll go over it again because it's really, really, it's a really clever composition. Shout out to, I think Gooseworks composed it. I mean, Gooseworks like created the whole thing, which is very impressive. But like this song is, it seems very simple, but there's a lot going on. Like for people who haven't actually watched the show, do it. It's like the first episode's like 20 minutes. It's not like too long, but you know, very very Spark Notes summary is like obvious Yuri ship. Okay, I see it. Soroba, more Chujin, no Chujin, no Chujin, no bitches. Anyway, I'm getting off this topic. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so SparkNote's summary of the show, like the premise is, I mean, I think what actually finally got me to like watch the show, because I'd known it was around since it came out, but I just kept putting it off. I was looking on Tumblr for like posts about Aina, and there was a post saying like, "Oh, check out modern YouTube animations. We have what the fuck is happening for Aina." There was some other stuff, and then the caption for Digital Circus was "Sword Art Online but good," and I was like, I'm very curious what that means. So, premise is girl. Her actual name isn't Pomni, but like when she gets transported to the Digital Circus, she like forgets what her real name is, so they just give her a new name. She somehow ends up in this digital world that's like a circus based, and she's trying to escape for the entire first episode, and she fails because it's the first episode. Very wacky, very cool character designs, pretty funny. And the moment that really like sold me on the show, like this has got very very good potential. Is the last like minute where throughout the entire first episode, don't let me, I'm scared. Let's go. Throughout the entire first episode, like Pomni's been really like busy. Like from the second she lands, she's like getting people are talking to her. Like she's being sent on like an adventure by like the guy who runs the circus, being chased around by like monsters and stuff. So she really hasn't had a chance to really like digest the fact that she's stuck here and she has no idea how to escape. But at the very end of the episode, I think she's like talking to one of the other circus members, and they mention, like, "Oh, we're gonna be stuck here for eternity, girl. Just get used to it." And they just like slowly zoom into her face and start zooming out as well, as it just like completely cracks and like under the pressure as this song plays, and it just zooms out, until she's like a tiny speck, and then like the entire digital world is like behind her, and she's like so small compared to it. And it was like, it really hit me even just the first time watching it. Usually the first time I experience something, it doesn't hit as hard, and I need to like rewatch it to really get the emotion. But like even when I first watched it, I was like, I was feeling something. And I think, musically speaking, it's really interesting because like I feel like most composers would have taken a scene like that and made had like a really scary sounding song, like a really sad sounding song. But that scene has like, music that on the surface sounds pretty happy, like it's I think it's a rearrangement of the main theme of the show, which is meant to be a circus song, so it's meant to sound upbeat. But for whatever reason, even though the song sounds really happy, the scene itself just gives you this feeling of like pure dread and just like absolute like existential terror. Like, yeah, no, she's stuck here and there's nothing she can do about it. And I'm pretty sure you can't die in the circus either because it's digital. You can like glitch out and like lose your mind, but I don't think you can actually die. So like, unless Pomni does find a way out by the time the series is over, then she's going to be stuck there until the end of time. And like, it's a very very fucked up, like, it's a really, really well done, just like unnerving scene. And I think there were some tricks that Goosework pulled with the song to pull it off correctly, like pull off um like get the intended emotional effect. Because I mean, like when I looked at the sheet music, I was like, oh, I see, this is really interesting. Because you could just play like a happy song over like a sad or scary scene, and that'll work. But there's something about this song, even divorced from context, that it just sounds off, like very slightly, for some reason. Especially if you actually like listen to the real song and not my cover. There's like a choir that comes in at the end, and it just sounds really, really like off. And I'll get into like why it's like that in a second. Let me like catch up on chat real quick. Let's see. What's happening? Cookie's being horny, but I mean I started it, so I'll take blame. Kane drags kind of. I'm sorry I brought this up. I'm getting off this topic. Digital dancing. Last thing, don't have me, I'm scared. During the Tumblr Sexy Man panel, Tony the Talking Clock was eliminated by Tony the Tiger. I'm so mad. Tony the Tiger sucks. He's bad. Tony the Talking Clock is great. How dare they? Anyway. Doesn't have key signatures? What the Okay, I don't know. The show is on YouTube. Yeah, it's free. Jax's discourse. All I found is that it seems like the discourse is people are upset that he's an asshole, which is like, yeah, he was kind of an asshole in the first episode. I don't know why. I don't know. Let's see. And yeah, 375 million views. It like completely exploded. Gooseworks coming out. I discovered them. I feel like with like a lot of people through their Undertale remixes, but they've really made it big. Nobody hated, just people talking about the hate. Yeah, to be fair, Charlie, I mean, part of the reason I didn't watch it for a while because at first I didn't like the art style. Like I saw the thumbnails, I was like, I don't know. But when I actually sat down and watched it, it does look pretty good. I think it's an aesthetic that grows on you. I think it's meant to look a little unsettling, like Uncanny Valley-esque. Tired of Tony the Tiger. He sucks. Yes, they did, Charlie. I mean, it was the same, basically. But okay, yeah. So I'll talk about the music theory, really quickly. So, yeah, let me try to remember what I said. So, you have this beginning part. Something I've talked about a lot recently on this channel is like I really more now than ever I've been trying to put thought into like how do I bring emotion out of the songs I play. I think bringing emotion out of your playing is an entirely separate skill from like being able to hit the notes, move your fingers fast. You can move your fingers really fast, hit all the notes, but that doesn't guarantee that you'll know how to bring emotion out, and I can't really quantify or explain what or how to do that. And I mean, it varies from song to song, but like as an example, hello, Unsweet. Just an example of like the kind of mental framing, I guess, I use to, when I try to cover a new song, I try to understand the song and, pick up on its idiosyncrasies, I guess, so I can get the most out of the song. And so like an example is that like, the beginning of this arrangement is already pretty interesting because you have this very simple melody, the simple main melody of the song, which is just very simple, but the left hand is honestly a lot more complex than the right hand, which usually isn't the case. Yeah, it's going like. It's providing both harmony and chords while also providing like a melodic line with those notes at the top. Like it's simultaneously doing while also doing. I think that's interesting. And so in my head, I was kind of, and I can't really explain how to translate these like this like mental framing into like how you actually play. It just kind of happens naturally. But like in my head, I was kind of like, okay, here's how I'm gonna think about this intro part of the song. The right hand is Pomni, like sitting alone at like the table, just all the horror of her situation sinking in, while the left hand is all the other characters in that scene. Because during that scene, like all the other characters like talking and eating, but Pomni's just sitting there like frozen in like horror pretty much. So I'm like, okay, this is Pomni just quietly like breaking down over here, while this more like busy sounding but kind of pleasant sounding left hand is everyone else in the scene. Like, so you combine them like. That's a good example. Because like if you just look at the notes and play them, then like I feel like that sort of subtlety, I guess, kind of just gets lost. So that's just an example of like this particular arrangement. The thing that I noticed very interestingly with the song, because I posted images of it in the description of the cover, but I like marked up the sheet music again because I only do that when the composition of a song really fascinates me, and this is a case of that. Something I noticed right away as I was, marking down the chords is like, interesting. The piece, the song starts out in B major, but then, when the song like really gets loud and, the orchestra and the choir come in, it switches to A flat major, like. Immediately, that's really interesting because, typically when you modulate or like change key in a song, like a lot of songs, like even like the main theme of Undertale, like it starts out like dun, 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 but then it goes up a half step to sound like represent like a more hopeful like moment, like dun, 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 dun. And so like if the key change in this part of the song is just meant to make the sound like louder or like brighter, I guess it would have just gone up a half step, and in that case modulated to C major, so it'd be like. But it doesn't. It takes the very unorthodox decision to modulate to A flat major, which is 3 half steps down from B. So you start here, you go down, and now you're playing an A flat major. So I was like, that's interesting. And what really, caught my attention about that is that the way that you go from a major key to its relative minor key, which I don't want to get like too into music theory, but like I talked about minor and like major and relative minor keys before while analyzing songs. Like a major key, like a major scale sounds happier, like while a minor scale sounds sadder. But a relative minor key is like a minor key that has the same black notes pretty much as a major key. So like C major sounds very like pretty happy, right? A minor, the A minor scale has the exact same notes, but it sounds sadder. It's an interesting musical phenomenon, and the way that you go from a major key to its relative minor key, or like a little trick you can use, you just go 3 half steps down. So like, again, C is C major, its relative minor is 1, 2, 3. 3 half steps below is A, as I mentioned. A is the relative minor of C major, yada yada yada. So this song goes from B major to A flat, but it doesn't actually go to A flat minor. It goes to A flat major. So, you know, it specifically goes down 3 half steps to the key that is like the key that it is its relative minor, but instead of going like I'm trying to like even figure out how that would sound. Like or something like that, you know, sounding more scary or like sad. Instead of going to the minor key of A flat, it goes to the major key, which is weird, you know, like normally you go through the effort of, you know, modulating down 3 half steps so that you can get to the relative minor so the song will sound sadder. But this song doesn't do that. It switches to A flat major instead of minor, and still, so it still sounds very bright and like cheerful. And I think that in and of itself helps make the song sound a bit off, a bit unnerving, because it's like makes the song sound like it's forcing itself to be cheerful when it really shouldn't be, which again fits with the moment in the episode, because like Pomi's having this breakdown while everyone else is like partying and like talking around her. So there's that. Let me catch up on chat real quick. Let's see. Hello, Gameboy378. Good to see you. Sans Jax. There's something unforgivable. Interesting. I wonder if he like killed the crocodile guy. I think the crocodile guy dies in episode 2. I think I've gotten that spoiled. Really sound like crying and screaming. Yes, like. Also, just a fun fact. Apparently, like there was some musician who said that a wailing guitar is the closest an instrument can sound to like someone crying, which I think is really cool. Weezer riff, lol. Ragatha was a cool little character. I don't know what she does in episode 2, but she was cool. Kind of sounded like Forlorn, yeah. But yeah, so I was aware of the whole like, you know, it's an A flat major and not minor. That's interesting. I wrote it down in the sheet music. Tried to cover the song. I couldn't get a good take of it, and I was like, I guess I'll just give up on this song. You know, I kind of ran out of motivation to play it. I went to the convention, and then I just started thinking about the theme again. And I was like, you know, I think the thing that made me be like, okay, I need to cover this is that there was a very intriguing, appreciate the unsweet, hope this is interesting. There was a very intriguing, like, harmony change in the main melody here. Like, the main melody goes, which I think is interesting because it goes, for whatever reason, like, again, the music theory, not gonna harp on it too much, but like, the chord that's being played here at first is C minor. But then for whatever reason, the chord switches to C major because this E flat turns into an E, so it goes. I was like, that's interesting. I wasn't really sure what it meant from a music theory perspective, but I was like, that's really, really unique. I feel like that's probably a big reason why the song, you know, conveys the emotion that it does. And as I was thinking about the song at the convention, it hit me like, oh, that's actually like fucking brilliant. I don't think I've seen any other song do this. They probably have done it before. I just haven't noticed. But like, essentially, you know, what actually makes this, like the E flat 10 changing to an E out of the ordinary, is that E natural is not part of the A flat major scale. It just doesn't. It's not one of the notes that you play. You play E flat in the A flat major scale, not E. So it sounds out of place. But you know what scale actually does have E natural in it? F harmonic minor. And I know I'm throwing terms around that might not make sense, but long story short, harmonic minor is honestly it's like a variation on a minor key. It's a version of a minor key where it's used more than like regular minor because as the name would imply, it harmonizes better. Like this is, for example, this is A minor, just like normal A minor. This is A harmonic minor. You just shift like the second to last note up a half step. And if I really want to go into it just for a second, I think the reason why you shift that note up is because it makes the chord of the fifth note in the scale a major chord instead of a minor chord, like instead of which the fifth chord, the chord of the fifth note in the scale to the first chord is like how like most songs on the planet end, like like, or that's bad, like it sounds very definitive, very final. So you get an interesting little harmony when you go from the fifth note's chord, which is major, and then end on a minor, on the first note's chord, which is minor. You get this nice contrast, like. Whereas if you didn't shift that note up, it would just sound like, which doesn't sound like spicy. It doesn't sound as spicy. So F harmonic minor is used a lot more than just like regular minor for that reason. And in F harmonic minor, the way that you change F minor to F harmonic minor is you change that E flat to an E. You go from to, and the thing that ties this all together is F minor is the relative minor key of A flat major. It's 3 half steps down. So you get this really interesting effect where the song goes from B major to A flat major, even though logically it should be in A flat minor now. But then even as it's in A flat major, it's kind of trying to go into F minor, which, would be its relative minor key. It's like actively trying to change into F minor, but the song like kind of like isn't allowed to. Like it briefly switches to like the notes you'd find in the F harmonic minor scale. Actually lands on an F minor chord, but then keeps going. And then it lands right back on A flat major. Like, so you get this almost like double effect where the song sounds off because you get the impression that it's meant to be sounding sad even though it's not. It sounds cheerful, which just sounds unnatural. But the song's also kind of trying to sound sad but failing. It's really unique. I haven't seen any like composition like that. And so again, you get this really, really cool effect where the song just sounds super chaotic as a result. Like it just sounds like, a bunch of emotions mashed together, like despair, kind of almost like laughing at how fucked up the situation is, like sadness, anger, fear, like all of it is just thrown together. And yeah, I think it's really brilliant. It's a song that like sounds pretty simple, but there's a lot going on, and I really like it when a song that kind of sounds simple, you peel back the layers and you realize like, oh, this was very, very intentionally composed. I don't know if like Gooseworks consciously thought of all these things from like a music theory perspective, but I think this was their intention, and I think it was like pulled off really well. It's a really good song. So hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully that made sense, somewhat. If there's any takeaway, forgetting all the music theory stuff, the long and short of what I just said for the past like 20 minutes is that like the song sounds happy when it shouldn't, but it's also trying to sound sad but failing, so it just sounds like a mess and is really, really a really, really smart like compositional decision. Let me catch up on chat real quick. Hades is a good game. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's my explanation of like the brilliance behind this song. And I mention all of this just because like it is necessary, not necessary, but it's very helpful for me to go through this process. When it comes to songs like these that are very like detailed in their composition, because like I think this is a case where like music theory can be really boring, and an argument could be made that it kind of takes the magic away from music, but I like using it when it actively improves my experience with the song, where like I wouldn't appreciate the song, I wouldn't understand what the song is trying to do as much if I didn't sit down and analyze it. And I think my playing of it was a lot better for having sat down and really thought about the science and like the theory behind it. So theory can be cool sometimes. That's another big takeaway here. It's very different. It takes a lot of time to learn though. I had to learn it for like years. Is there anything else to say? Don't think so. Thanks for listening about that. I might play like one or two more songs and then just end. This is musical praxis. I guess I can play like one more time, and like with everything that I've said and explained, maybe like listen to it again, see if you can like pick up on what I'm saying. Part of the reason I stopped trying to get a better take of the songs is it's a really loud song. There's a lot of loud chords down here where the piano is the loudest, and I didn't want to get like yelled at. So when I got like a decent take, I was like, okay, good enough. I think like just another another just like thingy. I don't know if I would recommend this, but I kind of like while recording this yesterday, I kind of kept trying to get a good take even after I was kind of annoyed and sick of the song, or at the very least annoyed and sick of me like messing up, because I wanted to get into the headspace of like I am Pomni, I am really mad and frustrated that I'm like stuck and I cannot get past this thing. And so like that emotion was naturally coming as I was struggling to get a good take, and I think that actually helped the song sound better. I wouldn't recommend doing it if it like actively just like ruins your experience with it while playing piano, but I think I made sure not to like keep playing even after I was like legitimately like okay, I'm done. Just a little bit of like emotional flavoring, I guess. And then just like a last thing, I mean this is like a much simpler like observation, like all the music theory stuff, but like the actual melody, like it's very like circular. It kind of just it kind of repeats and doesn't actually go anywhere, which I think is meant to reflect Pomni like being stuck in there. It's just like it kind of meanders, but it always just keeps coming back to like the first note in the scale, the B in this case, and it just kind of it repeats this a bunch of times. Like, are we going somewhere now? Are we going to escape with this like kind of more out there melody? No, we're back. We're right back where we started. Very smart. I really like. Part of the reason I want to like actually get good at composing music is like there's so much you can do with stuff like this. So yeah, just pretty fun stuff there. Probably play like one more song. As I mentioned, I usually do these streams after I make like one or two covers, and I made like one or two covers since my last stream. So I'll play the other song that I covered and maybe just call it there. It's pretty close to 10 p.m. right now. Pomnin. But yeah. Transitioning away from all the stuff about Digital Circus. Much simpler song. Is I couldn't really analyze the song if I tried. It's a song that I've always liked since I was like 11 and I played the game. Motherfucker. Very nice sounding song. Parts of the song are very familiar. I mean, that makes sense. Probably does sound similar to like some. It does. The melody seems like. What am I trying to say? I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a song that's sort of similar sounding to this one. It's a very nostalgic sounding melody, which I like. VVV presenting VVV. That was the cover I made like before the Digital Circus one. It's the title screen music for an indie game called VVVVV. I actually edited the description of the cover of this song to include a link to the Steam page, just because it's a pretty obscure game. Very fun though. It's honestly not. I think it is actually the first indie game I ever played. Like at the very least, the first indie game that required me to like buy it and wasn't just like a flash game on Newgrounds. It's pretty crazy. A friend introduced me to it when I was like 11. I really enjoyed it. Maybe you could argue that if it wasn't for VVVVV, I never would have played Undertale, which I never thought about it that way, but it's kind of crazy. But it's a fun game. It's like a platformer. Great music. This is my favorite song from the soundtrack probably, but the whole game is like really good music. Very charming. Pretty difficult, but very charming. So yeah, recommend you check that out. Can you properly pronounce VVVVV? The way everyone pronounces it, even the dev, they just call it V6. But I like saying VVVVV. It's funny. It's just talking a little bit. I guess this is just like a nice opportunity to like, share some of the creative process, like the behind the scenes of like the musician and work or whatever. That sounds really stupid. You'll notice like this song is this. Hold on. Yeah, this song. In terms of notes, it's a lot easier than honestly most songs I played. The melody is a bit. The rhythm is a bit difficult. I'm really bad at rhythm. That's like my weakest spot by far as a pianist. So like, getting like this down, like I can't even do it. That was probably the hardest part of the cover. I stumbled on that quite a few times while recording, but the actual notes are really easy compared to everything else. Compare even just like to it's a slower song, it's not meant to sound very chaotic, it's meant to sound very soothing. But you'll notice, just sort of like, I guess because I have so much more freedom to just like think and move, since I'm not like moving my fingers so much, you watch back the recording of me playing this like just now, or go to the cover I uploaded, you'll see that like I move my body a lot when I play this song. Like I lean into the notes like. I think body movement is a bit tricky when it comes to piano because you don't want to like be so focused on how you're moving your body that you forget you lose track of your hands, because your hands are the important thing. Your torso like moving back and forth or whatever, like that's just meant to supplement the playing, and it can get very like showy. I think I'm gonna put this man on blast. There's a pianist, a very famous pianist named Lang Lang. I think it's Lang. I never really liked him. He's very, very showy with like how he moves his body and like the faces he makes while he plays. and it's just like I haven't, I mean, to be fair, I haven't watched any recordings of him in a long time. Maybe I was just being like a hard ass when I was like 15, but I remember watching like some of his performances, and I was just like, what you're doing, the faces you're making, like the movements you're making with your body, they're not serving a purpose. They're not helping you play the song better. Um, but like with this song, for example, it's even just something as simple as like, the song up until this point, maybe like 15 seconds in, has, just been sort of repeating the D, like the D note, just kind of, kind of a little immobile. But then movement, like suddenly, sort of like a little blossom of color into the song. So I really try to lean into it, like really, I can't even really explain the purpose or like what it does to the sound or like to the playing, but it makes it sound better. Like, you know, even just like the physical act of like leaning in when the song sort of leans in, it cues my brain to be like, okay, play this a little different, like then move back out when the song returns to the D note. Like that. I think that's just like a little tidbit to share. I think, having said all this, if you're sitting there playing and you're consciously thinking like, how do I move and lean in order to play, you're probably thinking about it too much. It needs to come naturally. I think I'm able to sort of recognize that I'm doing this, like I'm able to recognize that I'm doing it and point it out, but like when actually playing the song, I do it unconsciously. Like it's just, I'm feeling the song and I do it, I do it and I do it. I want you to do it. That goes for like other stuff too. Like you'll notice with like slower songs, I tend to like, you can look at a lot of my covers of like slower songs. You'll notice like my wrist is like really mobile the whole time. Like especially, don't pay attention to the fingers. Pay attention to just like the way my wrist and arm are moving. Like. I'm kind of going like this, and and I can't. It's even harder to explain like what that does to the playing, but like I do it because it helps me bring out the emotions of the piece. If I just like played it like, I can't even do that. It's gross. Ugh. Probably sound like very snobbish, but like this is something I really care about. Like since I was, I don't know how old, but like my teacher explained to me like one of the worst insults you can give to like a pianist or a musician is you're just playing notes. Because a machine could, any cover I could ever make on my channel, a machine could just play it perfectly. But the reason people come to this channel to listen is because AI, humans, the whole debate, the reason people come to humans playing the song is because they can lend it that human touch and in a way that can't be quantified. Like I talk so much about, you bring the emotion of the piece. I can't explain how to do that every single little thing I do. It's, the every second, just like the micro decision of like, do I linger on this note? Do I slow down a bit? Do I play this note a bit louder? Do I lean my body and do I not? That's what makes a song really hit people. That's what makes a song, resonate with someone and not just be like, some pretty sounding noises. So it's something I've been passionate about for the longest time, and I've really honed in on it in recent years because, as I mentioned a lot in like streams and stuff, my actual like technical skill with hitting the notes has gone down a little bit since I started college, so I need to rely on that, you know, that emotional playing because it's where I can specialize now, you know, rather than just specializing in like being able to move my fingers really fast. So yeah, it's something I care a lot about, and it's something I always want to do with my covers. But again, you run into the danger of you don't want to overdo it. You know, all the emotions you bring on need to be genuine. If you're like, you get, it's hard to again. All this is hard to explain because it's art. You know, it's not meant to be quantified or pinned down. But you can usually tell yourself as the person playing the song if you're overdoing it. Like if you're playing and the emotions you're feeling aren't genuine and you can tell they're not genuine, then it's probably going to come out in your playing. And even if, you know, a more like casual listener won't notice, you'll probably notice, like listening back to it, and you're like, yeah, I didn't like that. So for your own sake, you know, you got to find that middle ground where it just comes naturally, you know. Kind of like the same way with singing, just doing some stuff. Yes, like people make hand motions, I guess, when they sing. You know, I'm sure that serves a similar purpose. Um, trying to break it all down. Kind of miss. Yes, I'm trying to like. I want to get across the idea because I think like I'm probably gonna end the stream, so I'm probably not gonna play anymore. It's 10 p.m. I'll probably just talk for a little bit longer and end the stream. I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I feel like learning to put emotion into your playing is like it's like I guess it's sort of like, you know, like a baby like gaining sentience. That's probably a bad metaphor, but what I mean is that like for me, what happened was like I don't know if I've talked about this before, but like um when I was learning piano, like I started around like 6 or 7, I think. But for the first like 5 years of me playing piano, I hated it. It was a chore. I didn't like it. My parents forced me to do it because they thought it would be cool, and it would make me look good. And I got into fights with my parents about it. I didn't enjoy it. But then when I was like 12, one of my teachers assigned me Venetian Boat Song. I don't even remember how that song goes anymore. I haven't listened to it in a long time. But it was a song called Venetian Boat Song by Mendelssohn. And it just clicked. I listened to it and I was like, this song sounds really, really beautiful. I like it. And I tried to like convey what I thought was beautiful about it through my playing. And that was like the moment it all came together. I was like, that was like the switch that flipped where I was like, no, I actually like this now and I want to dedicate time to it. I want to do it myself and not be told to do it. I think my brother was saying like the moment when I was growing up where I went from oh I hate piano to oh I want to play. It was very surprising to him, which I think is funny. Um, and it's like you said, Cookie, like it's not something that you can scientifically like pin down because like the whole point is that it's personal. That's the beauty of art. It's subjective. You know, it isn't something that can be pinned down. It's, you know, something more abstract. Um, so yeah, I feel like, you know, learning to find that joy in playing and figuring out how to bring out that joy and those emotions in your playing to go from just pressing notes to like telling a story and stuff. That's the biggest hurdle for like people who really want to like play piano or do music very seriously. And yeah, I can't explain how to do it. I can do what I've done this stream, talk about how I get there. You know, I'll analyze the music theory and the composition. You know, I'll sort of frame the song, be like, okay, this part of the song represents this, which means I'll play it like this. You know, I'll use my body. I'll slow down and stop and play louder, play softer here and there. But that's just me like going over like objectively what I do, how I decide to do it, and like how you decide to interpret a song. Like if someone else played like I don't know presenting VVVVV, they would probably play it differently than me because the song would mean something different to them, and they would be like, oh, I like this song for different reasons. I want to bring out this aspect of the song more, so they'll play it a bit differently. You know, that's something that can't be pinned down. It's something that can't be concretely explained. But I think it is fun and worthwhile to just talk about like, you know, this is how I get into the groove. Maybe it'll help with other people, you know? Uh, let's see. People have to break down those emotional parts of acting and the minute different beats. People both like can benefit from being, yeah, like I'm trying to say, well, it should be natural. I think there's something too sometimes. Yeah, like that is a good point. It's weird. You have to strike the balance. I think that anyone who like does like performance, I'm sure like other forms of art too, like when you're in the groove with like drawing or something, you want to be in the groove. That's always a good state of mind to be at. You want to be in a state of mind where everything's just coming naturally to you. But at the same time, you don't want to be thoughtless when you're playing. You want to be able to make those judgment calls like, okay, I want to slow down right here. That'll sound good. But you don't want to, so you want to strike that balance where things are coming naturally and you're not thinking so hard about like how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I make this sound good? That it's just suffocating your playing and you just can't like you're so busy thinking about like the minute details that you lose the forest for the trees and the song just sounds like robotic. But at the same time, just playing thoughtlessly the whole time, you might miss out on that so and like the more subtle and complex parts of the song. So it's always a balancing act. And again, it's something that's going to be different for everyone. And maybe there are people out there who would prefer to break everything down more minutely and more detailed, and that works for them. Maybe there are people who just go naturally 100% of the time and it just works for them. For me, I need to be somewhere in the middle. It's always like a tightrope I'm walking when I'm playing. Music, art is complicated. That's the takeaway here. I think it would be more technical and rigid than it is. Yeah, like, I could talk about this for a long time. Technique is important. It's the key that'll get you into the song sounding good. But you need to bring your own touch into it. Like music, man. It's pretty surprising me that you hit piano as a kid. Just yeah, like it's crazy, man. Like piano is like one of my driving passions in life now. Like I don't want to think about like how my college experience and my grad school experience would have been if I didn't have piano. If I didn't have this creative outlet to just, I wouldn't have a channel because I wouldn't be posting covers and I wouldn't have gotten my start there. So I wouldn't have any of this. Wouldn't be able to talk to any of you guys. Wouldn't have met like any of you. Having that creative outlet, like just something I can just do and feel good about, after like a hard day at school or something. Being able to like, the combination of, I'm gonna end the stream like just in a second, but like something I didn't mention to my brother was that like, for how much I do love piano and like it's such an important part of my life, if I didn't have this channel I probably wouldn't play very much, just because like ever since I went to college and I stopped receiving like weekly lessons, it's been hard to motivate myself to practice. I have a lot of trouble like just with discipline and getting into the habit of things in general. So once I stopped receiving those weekly lessons, I stopped practicing for 2 hours a day. I used to do that every day with exceptions here and there, but I would practice 2 hours a day because I wanted to sound good for my weekly lessons, and my parents would get annoyed at me if I didn't do my like daily practice. But I went to college. I didn't have my parents there to like monitor me, so I had less reason to do it. So I don't practice. The thought of practicing for like even just an hour a day, just like I don't think I could do it. It sounds like work. I don't want to do that. And I think having the channel where like it's kind of messed up for how much I love piano. I pretty much never learn songs nowadays that I don't plan to cover. Every time I try to learn a new song, it's specifically because I want to cover it in some way. There's a lot of songs that I like that would probably be fun to play on piano, but for every reason I don't feel like covering them, so I just don't learn them really. Or I'll learn them, but very, very like surface level, and I won't really try that hard. Because I think the way my brain works, it needs that like concrete like product at the end of it, that like satisfaction at the end where I can spend a day or a week or a month learning a song, but it's not just because I like the song, it's because then I can record it, go through the process of recording and publishing it, read comments for people saying they liked it, get likes and views or whatever, and then look back in like 6 months time and be like, yeah, that was a good one, and I can forever, unless like it's like copyright struck or something, I can forever go back to that. The covers I uploaded like 7 years ago, I can right now go back to it and listen and be like, I did good, that was good. I think I need that kind of external motivation to play piano. So again, another reason why I'm really grateful to have this channel. Yeah, I don't know. The combination of piano and this channel have been extremely helpful. I don't know where I would be without those. So yes, thank you guys. Is there anything else? Wow, how different in lives would be for 10 decisions we could have made. Very true. I haven't sung something in full in a while. Yeah, it's hard, man. Like, yeah, last thing, I'm gonna end the stream. I'm gonna just like point the camera at like the city because it looks nice. Like that's the last thing that's like hard about art. You need to be in the mood to do it. If you force yourself to do it, sometimes it does work. Sometimes with like writing, I have to force myself to write, and in the end I'll be happy I did it and it'll turn out decent. But most of the time with art, you can't force it. You just need to be in the mood to do it. And if you're just never in the mood to do it because you're stressed or because you just don't really feel like you don't have the energy for it, then you can just go months without doing it. Like, there were times I think where like, weeks or months would pass and I wouldn't play piano very much at all, like during my undergrad, just because I was busy or something. So yeah, it's tough. Art is hard, but it's what makes life worth living, in my opinion. So, hell yeah. I'm glad to be able to share all this. And I appreciate everyone listening. This was a very impromptu stream, and I went into a lot more detail about stuff than I was expecting to. But I had fun. Hopefully you guys did as well. This was a very good discussion. Yeah, I appreciate it. Probably going to end the video now so I can go eat. And like get some work done because there's also stuff I need to be doing right now. But yeah, thank you guys and have a good night. See you whenever. I don't have any covers like planned right now, and I don't have anything I want to like stream myself like playing through, so we will see. All right, bye guys. Oh, Shafi, hello. You can dox yourself this way. I know. You guys aren't seeing anything more than what you would have seen normally just through the window. There is an identifying building very close by that I'm consciously not showing the camera at, but it's fun. You won't ever do anything if you wait for the right time to make art, at least for me. I was not paying. I keep missing like messages. I thought no one was talking for a while. Yeah, like, what was I gonna say? I don't know. I said I was gonna end the stream, so yeah. Have a good night, guys. Check out my stuff and make some music. No self-promotion. Goodbye.